you are capable.
There you go, Captain. Realize what we're doing today is not just about today. Every goal.
All right, here we go. I got 2 words for you today. 2 words, here they are. Say so. Say so. Coaches come to me day in and day out and say, Mac, we need to build leaders. There is a shortage of leaders on our team. Or they'll say, how can I take the young men, the young women that have the potential for leadership and help them cross that chasm to actually being a leader? And what they're saying with both of these statements is, what's holding my student athletes back? And to answer that question, I would say the thing that I see that holds student athletes back from being a leader is that there are many who are willing to lead themselves, who are willing to do no harm, who are willing to do right, who are willing to set an example. But there are very few who are willing to stand up when they see something wrong, stand up when they see someone lowering the standard or someone in need, who are willing to stand up and say so, to speak up when it's time to speak up. And you see that difference between those who are willing and those who are not. That's the difference between leaders and those who simply handle their business. I want to challenge you today to be a leader, to be the kind of person that doesn't just set the example, but sets the example and leads. And when you see these 4 situations, that you would be willing to stand up and say so. When you see it's time to get tough, I need you to stand up and say so. That there are going to be moments in a practice or in a season in the game of life where things don't go your way, where a call didn't get made the way you wanted it, where you did everything right and things still went wrong. And in that moment, it's like a petri dish. It's a perfect environment for complaining to grow, for negativity to grow, for dissent and division to grow. And when you see that, I need you to stand up and say so. Hey, it's time to get tough. I'm sorry it didn't go the way that we wanted. That stinks. And we still have work to do. And our goals are still in front of us. And if we push through and learn from this, we'll look back and be thankful for what happened. That sometimes we've got to call our teammates out to get tough and to stop complaining and being negative, if for no other reason than because complaining and negativity do not help. Instead, when you choose to be positive, to add the best of you to what's in front of you, that's a positive attitude. I'm going to add the best of me to what's in front of me. That's excellence. When I choose that, I'm choosing to be tougher than my circumstances, tougher than my situations. And sometimes it just takes one person who's willing to say so for everyone else to follow. We stand up and say so when we see the standard being bent or lowered. Understand, there is a standard for a reason, because that is the measure to which work, commitment, character, that is the standard to which everyone agrees to work at. And we know that when we all agree to work there and we do it, it's then that we become successful. But when we have teammates who choose to lower the standard, to bend the rules, to be less than what we've agreed upon, not only does it hold the entire team back, it's disrespectful to those who are living to the standard. And so when you say, I don't want to call a teammate out because I don't want to offend them, what about the offense of the teammates who are doing what is right? What about the disrespect to them that is being shown? I know that it's uncomfortable to call a teammate out, but to me, it's even more uncomfortable to look someone who did the right work the right way in the eye and say, I'm not willing to speak up for you. If I've got to choose the hard conversation to have, I'm choosing to call my teammates out. I would stand up and say so. Now, when we do this, it doesn't give us permission to be a jerk. It doesn't give us permission to be holier than thou or better than you. All it does is say that I care enough about you to call you out when you're not living to the standard. I believe in our goals enough that when I see something that's going on that's going to keep us from our goals, I'm going to stand up and say so. This step, when you combine it with your work, will give you more credibility in your teammates' eyes than anything else that you can do. When you do the work and call out those that don't, you have the credibility. You have earned that right, and people will follow. The next time that we need to stand up and say so is when we see our teammates doing well. When you see your teammate dominating, playing awesome, having a great game, celebrate them as if it were your own success. We talk often that one of the commitments of a healthy locker room is that your success is mine and mine is yours. That we have a connection to one another. And when you win, I win. When I win, you win. We are connected. And so when we see a teammate doing well, stand up and say so. Don't let great energy, great play, don't let going over the top with effort go unnoticed. Because if it goes unnoticed long enough, a little voice, a little seed of doubt will get planted. Why bother? Why try? I'm doing all this work and nobody else cares. And then you'll have your most competitive, your most bought in people start to doubt whether or not they should be bought in because nobody notices. Remember this, what gets rewarded gets repeated. When you stand up and celebrate what others are doing, then it reinforces that this is what we want as a team, and it gets replicated. And so when you see a teammate doing well, celebrate them, stand up and say so. Now the final time I want you to stand up and say so has nothing to do with other people and everything to do with you. And it's as important a part of leadership as anything we've talked about today. I want you to stand up and say so when you need help. Because you see, friends, the reality is this. The better the leader that you want to be, the more help you will need. That just like on a team sport, you cannot win the game alone. In leadership, you cannot lead alone. That as we pour out into our teammates, we pour out challenge, we pour out encouragement, we pour out celebration, we need to be filled back up. And sometimes we just have to ask for help. To say, I can't do this by myself. And friends, that vulnerability is actually a strength. It's how you press on longer. It's how you lead longer with greater credibility, is by being willing to ask for help. And your help is going to be different than mine. What you will need will be different than what I will need. But when you ask for help, you get given what you need so that you can go and give what is required of you to give. So never fear standing up and saying, I need help. Friends, even as I say this, some of you are thinking, Mac, I just don't know how to take the first next step. I don't know how to stand up and say so. Well, here's this simple challenge. Take one of these 4 areas. When it's time to get tough, when the standard's being bent, when a teammate is doing well, or when you need help. Take one of those 4 areas and think about what you would say in that moment, and then look for the moment to say it. It might not be eloquent. It might not be perfect. You might stumble or stutter through your words. Your voice might even crack, but remember this, you get great at what you get reps at. So listen to me, friends. I don't know your goals or dreams, big or small, short-term or long, but I do know this. If you want to find success in the game of sports, in the game of life, let's not complicate it. It's as simple as 2 words. You got to say so. Let's have a good one today.